welcome back. Today I am going to be doing a review on a new to me foundation. I'm not exactly sure when this foundation came out. It says new on the bottle, but it's by Physicians Formula and it's their Organic Wear Silk Foundation Elixir with jojoba oil. Mine is in the shade light to medium. Now, according to Physicians Formula, it is an ultra nourishing, ultra fluid, weightless, organic foundation elixir that improves the appearance of skin tone and texture while delivering a sheer to buildable coverage. It's good for you because it has organic jojoba oil, organic aloe vera, organic coconut oil, and botanical cactus flower to lock in moisture, improve the appearance of skin tone, and deliver a second skin airbrush dewy finish. It's also hypoallergenic, fragrance-free, paraben-free, gluten-free, and dermatologist tested, clinically tested, vegan, and cruelty-free as well. Now, the directions say shake bottle before use, and that is it. There are 12 shades in this foundation range, which for Physicians Formula isn't actually bad. But that being said, I did get the shade light to medium, and when I was ordering it, I'm like, oh, I hope that's okay. Like, that's probably more of a summer shade for me. But when I was reading the reviews on it, it said in general this foundation is very light. Light to medium 04 is like a shade too light for me now, and this is like my palest that I get. I would definitely, if you're able to swatch it or something or find swatches online, go and look. But okay, so I'm gonna put this on my face so you can see how it actually wears and what it looks like. I am going to go in with the Cover FX blurring primer. My skin is very normal. If anything, throughout the day I sometimes get a little oily in my T-zone, but not even enough that I really ever have to blot or anything like that. Yeah, my face is just normal. I don't really have any dry patches. I'm not oily. I have tried this foundation a few times before, and honestly I'm having a hard time with it. The first time I wore it, I didn't wear any primer with it at all, and it was okay. It looked nice. It didn't go on streaky. But my pores seemed to be a little bit more accentuated than what I wanted to. It wasn't as flawless of a finish as I was looking for. And this is more of a sheer foundation, but I still don't want it emphasizing those sorts of things either. It covered up my redness fine, and I found it was buildable, but when I started to build it, it started to go streaky and start getting cakey looking. So I was getting the coverage, but the finish of it, I wasn't impressed with. So the next time I used it, I used the Tarte, the one in the pot, the primer. I forget what it's called. But I put that on just on my pores, and then I have a Revolution Beauty one that I like that has more of a dimethicone feel to it, and I just kind of put that on the rest of my face, and then I use this, and this did not play well at all with that. I'm pretty sure it was because of the Revolution Beauty, the dimethicone, the kind of slippy primer that I put on. My foundation was just, every time I touched my face, I was getting it on my hands, and it just looked streaky, and I was constantly kind of having to blot it a little bit just to make it look nice, because it was almost going patchy, because it was going a little bit patchy and everything, just because it was shifting around so much. I think it might just be the oils mixed with this, as well as the ingredients in that primer. They just weren't mixing well. So then I tried it again with a different primer. It was a Catrice one, which is new to me, which I haven't really used before, but it didn't work well with that either. So I'm hoping that this will work well with this foundation. I think if you have dry skin or normal skin, but you don't have any issues with wanting to blur out your pores, then this would work well for you, because it worked nicely on just my bare skin. It's when I'm putting a primer under it. So we're going to try it today with a different primer, and this is the Cover FX blurring primer. This is not slippy at all. It's very much pore filling, so we will see how it works today. I'm just really emphasizing this kind of where my pores are the most. I like to leave this part of my face clear because I find that's where it looks the driest, but everywhere else in my T-zone I have the pores that I want to blur. So okay, it does say to shake it really well first. It's a very, very liquidy foundation. It's not creamy at all. It does have the eyedropper on it, so I don't want to make a mess. So I'm going to put it on my little paddle here, and hopefully it doesn't run off. I have been using this with a brush, but I'm going to do half my face. falling out of frame. I'm going to do half my face with a sponge and then the other half with a brush. If I find that I don't like the coverage that I'm getting with the sponge, just because this is so liquidy, I feel like it's going to all get soaked up in the sponge. But if I don't like the coverage that I'm getting with the sponge, then I'll go in and build it up with a brush afterwards. But we're going to try it with the sponge first, because that is one technique I have not tried with this foundation yet. So, oh yeah, it's soaking right in quick. Okay, so that is one coat with a sponge on this side, nothing on this side. I think I'm going to go in with one more quick coat of the sponge on this side, just because, yeah, I'm making up new rules as I'm going on. Okay, so incredibly light coverage with the sponge. It's not even really covering up my redness, which I found it covered up my redness pretty well with a brush. So I'm going to take a little bit more on my palette here, and I'm going to go in with a brush this time. And I'm going to do this side of my face, and I'm going to try and stay in frame and not block you with my mirror. Okay. It is harder to blend out, most definitely, with the brush, just because it's so liquidy. It goes a little streaky. A little bit. It doesn't have a strong scent to it either. It has kind of like a, kind of like an oil scent, like not an unpleasant olive oil scent or anything like that. It just kind of has like a very faint scent. Okay. So as you can tell, at least I can tell in the viewfinder, it's noticeable, and it's noticeable in my mirror. This side definitely has more coverage with one coat. Like I'm painting one coat on this side with the brush as opposed to this side with the sponge, which I'm not surprised by at all, because generally speaking I usually get better coverage with a brush, and because this is so liquidy, it was absorbing very quickly into the sponge. That being said, if I go in with the second coat with the brush, which I'm going to do so you can see, it usually goes very streaky, and I have to use a sponge afterwards just to buff it out. So I'm going to do a second coat with my brush, so you can see what it looks like, and watch it not go streaky on me today. And I'm really trying to kind of stipple it in just to kind of minimize the streakiness, and then I'm going to kind of blend it out a little bit after. Okay, so not sure if you're going to be able to see, but just stippling it, you can tell that it's pretty, you know, it needs to be blended. So we're going to try blending it with the brush and see how it goes. Yeah, see, we're still getting streakiness. It's moving around. It's building up and giving me more coverage, but it is so streaky. Like, ah! Okay. It's doing the same thing it was doing to me all week. So I think this is definitely when you want to keep a little bit more sheer. You want to use a brush and you want to go in with one coat. If you want to build it up, it's going to take a bit. You're going to have to go in, there's 2 coats. You're going to have to go in with a sponge to kind of even it out afterwards. I'm going to go in with a brush and I'm going to do the side, so both sides of my face are even, and then I'm going to take my sponge and just kind of put it all around just so that we can get that streakiness out as well. It's a little bit high maintenance. I think, again, if you're going in for one coat, you're going to be fine. So dry to normal skin. You're not worried about your pores and blurring them at all, because it worked best, I found, without a primer. Although right now this primer isn't seeming to move it around a lot, and it did the same thing when I didn't wear a primer either. Like when I was trying to apply it, it went streaky. It was more the wear during the day that the primer seemed to affect it more than when I didn't. So we'll see how this one works, but this one isn't a slippy dimethicone one at all. So again, we'll see how this one works. It's still really streaky, especially like up in my brows and my forehead, in that area, my nose. Every time I'm trying to blend it, it's moving it around, and it's covering redness, but it's not holding onto it. It's moving it around so that it's coming off. So I might regret doing this, but ew. It's very oily on my lips too. That wasn't pleasant. Okay, I'm just gonna take this sponge. There's nothing on it. It's a little wet, but I'm just gonna kind of buff my face out so that the streakiness is gone, and hopefully it doesn't take away the coverage. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of how this is making my face look, and it's making, like right here, the coverage was there on my nose where I have some redness, but now it's poking through again because I had to blend it out. So this is what it looks like on my face after I applied powder and concealer and that sort of thing. I'm going to finish off the rest of my face later, but for the most part, my base is done. Other than blush and some bronzer, I'm not really putting anything else on my cheeks. I'm just going to do my eyes and my lips, that sort of thing. And I will do check-ins throughout the day so you can see how it's wearing. Right now, this is how it looks with the powder. So we will see how it holds up throughout the day. I found wearing it, other than when I had like that more slippy primer on, it held up pretty well. It stayed there. I didn't like how my skin looked throughout the day. So that was the main problem. I would say this foundation would probably be good for somebody who has dry skin and who doesn't have an issue with their pores and is looking for a sheer to very light coverage, because again, it doesn't build, it builds up color wise, but it does not build up on top of itself where it doesn't look streaky. If you go in with a second layer, I've tried it so many times now, I can't get it to work with a second layer. It's just the oils in it. It's too oily, I think, and it doesn't want to build on top of each other. It gives a coverage when you do it again, but it does not look good. Hey everyone, I'm just doing a check-in now. I just finished my makeup about 20 minutes ago, and I noticed that when I was doing my brows, it was starting to just kind of smear off, and my nose was a little itchy, so it's starting to smear here too. So I just wanted to give you in natural light, it's snowing out, kind of what it looks like. And yeah, this is what we're dealing with, like half an hour, 45 minutes in. It's not going well. I wasn't expecting it to, but yeah, just so that you guys get an idea of how it's wearing on my particular skin. And yeah. Hey everyone, I'm just doing another check-in. Actually, I'm gonna move where it's a little bit brighter. It's snowing out. But so this is kind of, okay, where's the best lighting? Oh, I'm getting dripped on. Let's go where there's no puddle. Oh, I'm in the snow in shoes. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. It's kind of caking up a little bit and coming apart on my chin and around my nose. It was really cakey. And I'm not really enjoying the feeling of it on my skin. The oils in it make it so it's not drying down completely. And I don't really enjoy that. But again, that's part of the foundation. I should have probably realized it before I put it on. But that's kind of the check-in right now. It seems to be holding up okay. It's not going patchy or anything from what I can see. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is my final check-in. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. It's around 7:30 at night right now, so I've had this on for about 8 hours or so. It is really breaking up around my nose, like where my glasses are. Like it's kind of weird by my eyebrows. It's done something kind of funky on my cheek here, and it's pretty much all gone around my nose and my mouth. It just kind of wiped right off. Yeah, that's my review of this Physicians Formula foundation. I don't recommend it for myself or someone that has oily skin, especially. I think, again, it is very limited to someone with probably dry skin who wants sheer coverage and doesn't mind their pores being noticeable or doesn't have an issue with that. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.